everybody. Happy Monday. I'm Jess. I'm joined by my wonderful co-host. It's Joe. Hi, Joe.
Hello, everybody.
How's it going? How was your week last week?
Other than it being an absolute blur, it was fantastic.
Yay! That's awesome. Yeah, Joe was out traveling, so I held down the fort last week, and I talked to the wonderful Olo Plays, and she was a delight. And we love her, and we want her back, and she's probably going to do some more stuff with us on stream very soon. So I'm super excited for that.
Awesome, because I keep missing her on stream. Like, we've tried to plan stuff. Either she's busy, I'm busy, or we're both busy. It's like we keep playing Twitch tag, and it's annoying.
Yeah, one of these days it's going to happen. Let's say hi to folks in the chat. We got Gus is here. Happy Monday to you. Token Gamer. It sounds like she might also be backstage.
Maybe. We'll find out.
Yeah. Oh, Abby says Joe is pretty loud compared to me. Well, stop talking so loud, Joseph. Just kidding.
Fine. I'll talk a little lower. Is that better? Do I sound better now? Huh? Let me know.
Let me know in the chat. No, not better. That's from Abby.
Not better. I tried, y'all.
Oh my gosh. That's
yeah, that is great.
Hello, Heart-Shaped Sky. Welcome in. Oh, you got it, Joe. See, it's so nice when you can adjust things on the fly.
Exactly. Hopefully I don't sound super loud now, and if I still do, let me know. I will turn it down even more.
Yeah. Or we can just have Joe go like this when he's talking.
Oh, goodness.
All right. Any cool games you've gotten to the table, though, Joe? Or you've been too busy to play games?
I haven't been too busy to play games. Abby and I actually went to a game night on Saturday with some friends of ours for a post-Cinco de Mayo party.
Nice.
And that was pretty fun. We played a couple of trick takers. We got to put an 18XX on the table in person for the first time since the pandemic, which was really awesome.
That's pretty cool. Which one was it?
18 Chesapeake, which is one of the entry-level 18XX games. But, we weren't picky. It's like, oh my god, we get to play train games. It's so great.
Nice. Nice. I got to the table a preview of the next game from Motor City Gameworks, which you also have a copy of, Joe.
Yes, I do. I need to start learning that.
Yeah, it is complex, so I'm excited. I mean, complex in the way of comparing it to the other games that they've released. It's not like complex in that it's difficult to learn. It's just a lot of interesting choices to make. So
yeah, which sounds pretty standard for their heavy roll and writes, as they call them.
Right. Yeah. Well, that has been so cool. I'm glad we're back together on stream. And Abby, we miss you. We hope you're doing wonderfully tonight. And without further ado, I think we should bring on our guests because we have a lot to chat about.
I think so. Let's do it. Game designer of things like Her Story and eBay Buy It Now. It is the wonderful, the amazing Danielle Reynolds. Yay!
Hey.
Hold on, I think I could still do that. It's been a minute. There we go.
Oh, I was like, do what? Oh, that's what it was. Nice.
I've got special effects.
Yeah.
Way to go.
Awesome. So, Danielle, welcome to the stream. Before we get started and jumping into all the questions that we have for you this evening, why don't you tell us who you are, like your identifiers, what you do exactly in the board gaming space?
Yeah, so I'm Danielle, and I use she, her as my pronouns. But as far as what I do in board gaming, I actually am a game designer. I develop games. And I have a podcast called Game Design Unboxed, Inspiration to Publication, as well as I am a director for Tabletop Gamers. I'm on the board of Unpub. I am an admin for Board Game Broads Plus, and then I also do some other volunteering with some other organizations. So I say yes to too many people. is what I'm saying.
That sounds familiar.
I know, that's kind of why I'm here right now. No, just kidding.
I am the same way. I have a hard time saying no to people.
I know, especially when it's like cool stuff and it's games, and I love games. That's a problem.
Yeah, I feel that. I really do.
Yep.
That's awesome. And yes, like Joe said in the chat, friends, if you have any questions for Danielle, please let us know by typing it into the chat, and we will get to it as soon as we can.
Heck yeah.
Yeah, and we got a hi Danielle from Heart Shaped Sky, aka Amy Bayo, game designer of You Think You Know Me, Lost for Words, Rabbit Rabbit.
Yep.
So there we go. Awesome. All right, Joe, do you want to kick us off, my friend?
Sure. So let's start with the question that we ask everybody first off. How did you get into board gaming?
Okay, I love this question. So my love of comic books is what got me into it. I actually went to my first Comic-Con, which was C2E2, and I dressed up like Mary Marvel, but like her black suit, for anyone who's watched the Shazam movies. So it's like a deep cut. Showed up, my coworkers who I went with ditched me because they suck. And so I was like alone in this huge convention center, McCormick Place in Chicago. Just like imagine Gen Con, like being lost there alone, like a little duckling. And so in heels, let it be known. In heels.
Oh no.
Yeah, I know. And so I was like walking around, and I struck a conversation with this Canadian company called Blind Ferret Entertainment, who did like digital comic books and board games. And they used to be in charge of Board Game Bento, which was a subscription box they used to do. And so they offered me a seat because they knew what I was costume wise, but also we just like were hitting it off. So I sit down. This guy later comes up and he's like, "You're in my seat." And I was like, "Oh my God, I'm so sorry." He's like, "Nah, I'm just Canadian. I'm screwing with you." I was like, "Oh, okay." And so his name was Ryan. And at the time I was working for Fujifilm Graphic Systems. I was in charge of their technology center, which is just like these $3 million printers. So like the printers they use to create the board games that we have. So I was familiar with all of that technology at the time. And part of my job was running these printers and just like making sure the ink doesn't like clog up the machines. So we were just like printing stuff and throwing it away. So I made them a deal that I would print all their booth graphics for Gen Con in order for me to go to Gen Con for the first time. And so I went to Gen Con and I immediately was just like inspired. I saw all these amazing games and like the artwork and the minis and just like all of it. And everyone was like so welcoming, and you just got to like sit down and interact, which was like better than a Comic-Con, where like at a Comic-Con it's just like, oh, I'm going to buy this comic book or this print. Where instead it's like, I'm going to sit down and play this game. If I like this game, I'm going to buy this game. And so just like everything about it got me excited. So I'm like driving in my car back from Indianapolis to the Chicago area and clicking like the speak to talk on my notes, like just jotting game ideas down. And then I just like from there, I kept talking to Ryan about just like learning different mechanics. I joined like meetup groups and kind of just like it snowballed, and then it shot off like a rocket.
That's rad. That's rad. And
nice.
I think that's probably the first origin story that we've heard that is in relation to comics. That's really cool. That's very cool.
Woo! Words I would never have guessed, but yeah, I'm a superhero nerd if you can't tell from the statues behind me.
I like it. So
No,
did you
couldn't tell.
indulge in free comic today this weekend?
So I was playing board games, so I missed it. Yeah.
I was doing my other hobby.
I was doing my other love and passion.
Oh, no.
Yeah, I was playing board games with the Heavy Cardboard crew in Boston. So yeah.
I mean, that's legit.
I think it's a legitimate excuse. Also, like I used to love going to Free Comic Book Day, but it's just like the first issue of something I don't care about typically, and you're waiting in line for it. So unless the like shop is doing something spectacular, I like don't care as much anymore. But I used to like go when I was in Chicago because there was a few shops that would like actually have cosplayers like dress up, and it was like a whole thing. I haven't found any local stores that do that. So yeah, but my friends did pick me up some comic books because I didn't make it, so that was nice of them.
Oh, there you go. At least you got a consolation surprise out of it.
I still got it. Yeah, I just didn't have to wait in line for it.
Nice.
That is nice.
Yeah. Very nice.
So, next question. What is your go-to player color?
I always just say not red or not pink.
Oh.
Yeah. Beyond that, I don't really care. Typically, I'm the one teaching games, so I let everyone else choose their color because normally it's my friends humoring me in my hobby and / obsession. So yeah, I reward them by letting them choose their color. Like if I get stuck with my not colors, it's fine, but I'd prefer not those two colors.
Yeah, that's very cool too. I like that. We've had folks that are just like, I don't care, and I'm like, you have to care. That's just like, whenever anyone doesn't want, and I'm like, no. If you knew you had to, in your brain space, that you're like, I don't want red, and red is the last one, you're probably going to say something like, hey, who wants red? You know?
Yeah. So, like, I mean, blue is my actual favorite color, but it's not always my favorite color in a game. Typically, I actually go for a color that looks the most opposite of the board. Like, if I'm actually choosing, it's like whatever's going to stand out the most, which tends to be like yellow or white.
That is so crazy because...
That's it. Nobody wants to be yellow.
No, honestly, Danielle, that's similar to what Olivia said last week. Like, she goes to whatever is opposite from the board so she can see her pieces as she's moving around the board.
Yeah.
I was like, more. Wow, that's cool. That's really cool.
See, it's not just me. I'm not the only weirdo.
Yeah. No, we embrace
I wouldn't say that makes you weird.
No, not at all. Not at all. Joe?
All right. Co-op or competitive? What's your pleasure?
I would say probably competitive, even though I do like co-op. There's just a lot more to choose from on the competitive side.
That's fair.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I mean, I will play both, though. That's the thing. I more have games that I would prefer not to play than would play, and the list is a lot. Yeah. Like, I don't tend to play war games or dungeon crawlers much. Mm-hmm. And then RPGs, but that's more just because it's hard to find the same group of people to do a campaign. I can do one-shots.
Yeah, that's fair.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. What was I gonna say? Yeah, I've noticed that too. Like, I would enjoy doing like an RPG or like a legacy game, but ever since the pandemic now, everybody's just kind of like, I don't know if I can make that commitment. And I'm
so this sounds so bad, but literally like one of my worst moments of my breakup of a person of 5 years is the fact that we didn't finish Machikoro Legacy, which is the first and only legacy game I've ever tried.
Man.
But like that just says something about the relationship if that's the part I'm saddest about.
Oh man.
You know, I could totally feel that because I can go into my like hall closet right now and I've got Pandemic Legacy Season 0, Season 1, Season 2, Machikoro Legacy, all in shrink wrap because I'm afraid of opening them and not finishing them.
It. Straight up, I was like, would it be bad to have someone else jump in?
I want to play these games so bad.
I know, like, I'm like, is it weird to have someone else jump in? But like, it feels weird, especially, oh my, there's just like a lot to unpack there.
Because then you have to catch people up on the continuity, and then you're like spoiling so much of the campaign.
So I feel like I wonder if I could just like do another 2-player campaign and just try to remember what went in each box that I'd already opened. I don't know.
Maybe.
I don't know.
Maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like that would be a lot of work for a legacy game, but that's just me. That's
fair enough. Yeah. So that's my saddest moment of a breakup. You didn't expect that on this, but
no. I mean, to be fair, that's a good one. I don't think I've ever heard that. It's like, oh, I broke up with this person and I don't miss them. I didn't care, but we didn't finish Machikoro Legacy, so that's the sadness.
Yeah. Yep. I love it. Every time we have these like conversations, Danielle, there's always been something that we release in people, like the comfortability, and we're just like, wow, it's either like oversharing or like, I didn't think I was going to talk about that, but you
I've talked about that before, but sure, you're also so cool.
Yeah, but no, it's like a nice feeling to know that like people feel comfortable. There's just here's what we're doing.
I mean,
today.
Look at your background for the stream, very nice and cozy, like I'm in your apartment, as if you actually wanted me in your home.
I mean, that's kind of what the aesthetic we're going for. So mission accomplished, Jess.
Mission accomplished. Yes. All right. Next question, Danielle. Favorite game night snack and bevy.
Ooh. Okay. So like depends on the vibe of the game night. Because if we're trying to do like rowdy party games with like friends from college or something, then it'd be an alcoholic beverage.
Okay.
You know, and if we were going that way, the Reynolds are known for Moscow Mules. So probably that. Or if it's a beer, it'd probably be Blue Moon because that's also like the Reynolds beer. So that's what those go-tos would be if we're not doing anything fancy or thematic. But I tend to like create cocktails based off of games that I'm going to play back when I used to do a lot more hosting. Now, if we're going for non-alcoholic, I almost always am drinking tea. Like every time I'm on streams, I'm like always drinking some kind of tea, or I'm drinking like seltzer, not hard seltzer, but normal seltzer.
Nice.
For snack, I mean, normally we just do like chips. It's super basic, but yeah, just some kind of flavored chip that's not a dip because the dip falls on the game, and that makes me sad.
Now, so when you say flavored chips, are you like flavored chips to the point that you get residue on your fingers?
Not typically. Normally it's like a sea salt and vinegar chip or something.
It.
I mean, like, yeah, we have gone down the Dorito pathway before, but if we do, it's normally like Cool Ranch because my friends like that over the other. But typically we eat and then we game. We don't do a lot of like snacking in between.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah. I go to other people's places and they do like the hardcore charcuterie board. Like, oh my God. So Debbie from Wise Wizard Games introduced me to like my now favorite snack, which is this dip of cream cheese, and then on top is this like pepper jelly, and then you like use like these like you can use like pita chips or like any kind of plain chip, but they also have this like chip that is like cranberry or something in it, and oh my God, it's so freaking good. That is now my new obsession. It's problematic.
That
probably the reason I'm going to gain at least a pound or two.
That does sound good.
That reminds me of have you ever had baked brie, like the cheese?
I have. It's good. Yep. I can get on board with that.
Or some like mango chutney on top or something.
Yeah.
Yep.
I'm all about it. Yeah. Normally other people do the fancy snacks. I bring the games and explanations.
And Doritos.
Well, okay, Doritos are getting expensive. That's like a $4 investment I just brought there. Or if you get it from a gas station, like $6. Like I could get fast food for that price. It's ridiculous. It's like they're trying to make sure I don't eat snacks.
Yeah. Doritos have a thing now. They're like infesting everything. They
really are.
Basically. Yeah. It's insane.
Hey, I love my Dorito taco at Taco Bell. That's my guilty pleasure. Love those. Yeah, so it's my guilty pleasure. But then they got rid of the Cool Ranch ones, which made me sad. So
those were the best.
Yeah,
I like the nacho, and then they have that like sweet and spicy chili one, which isn't as great. Chili. Yeah, that one's not as great.
Okay,
it's vegan though, so that's why they have it, which I get.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So.
All right, Joe, what's your next question?
All right, so I need to follow up the favorite bevy question with. So you said you've created cocktails based on games. What do you think is the most creative one you've ever made, and was it tasty?
Oh, yes. And it's so bad I don't remember all of what I put in it, but it was blue,
no.
And it actually matched the. Oh my gosh!
Okay, do you
blue game from Days of Wonder? Yeah, it was Deep Blue Days of Wonder game, and it was like it had like blue carousel. I know it had that in there, and I want to say it had like some kind of coconutty. Yeah, there was some tropical shenanigans happening in there. There's probably some like Sprite, something that made it fizz.
Okay.
Yeah, and like I think I dropped like a Swedish fish or two in there.
I'd try that. That sounds fantastic.
Yeah, it's been a while though. It makes me sad now. I'm just like, I need to be home more and do like more beverages. But
I mean, Abby and I are the same way. Like we would like when we host, we pull up the charcuterie board. Like we've got the games. Like we go all out. It's
for
great.
Sure. No, every Halloween, I just talked about this on like one of my podcasts that's gonna air in the future. But every Halloween, I do a different theme. And for every theme, I do competitions and like games for every competition. So like this past year, it was cartoons. And so we did Team Nickelodeon versus Team Cartoon Network. Everyone had to dress in some kind of cartoon character. I was Lola Bunny from Space Jam.
Oh, nice.
Yes. And so every activity was based around a different cartoon. And my favorite one that I made people do was for Rugrats. You actually had to partner up and put diapers on your partner. It was hilarious. Like straight up, like you had to get them in a diaper. Once you did it, they got up, and then the next person got down. So it was like one was the parent, the other was the baby. And it was
I love that.
Hilarious. And I have a recording of it.
That's amazing. So. Love it, love it, love it. Hey, Panda Angel, welcome in. Thanks for being here, Amanda Panda. All right, Danielle, do you have a favorite game designer besides yourself?
Wow, I would never have said myself. Is that good or bad?
That means you're humble. Means you're humble.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Because we did get that once. Who said themselves? Actually, I'm pretty sure Seppi said himself when we asked him that question.
Yeah, I wouldn't put it past him.
There you go. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe I need to work. I mean, I've been told I have a lot of confidence, but apparently not that much.
Yeah. Panda says it's good for self-love. You can say yourself.
Okay. It's hard. Okay, so this is the thing. Like, I don't really have like celebrity crushes when it comes to like board game designers. Mm-hmm. I more just have like, oh, I like this game, or I really like this person.
Yeah.
And so I would say when I first got in, Elizabeth Hargrave, because of Wingspan, like I love the game, I love the graphics, I like everything about her, and just like what she's done to get so many more women into the hobby, and into designing, that I think is why she would be my answer. But also, like, I am now actually close personal friends with her, where I've like gone and played games with her. I've like done game design days with her and stuff. And like, she's just a legitimately great person. So I would say her, but more from just like what I got before I knew her, and then what I've like continued to have through knowing her.
Cool. I like that. I like that a lot. So then
also,
follow
for
up.
everyone else I'm friends with, I love all of you too.
So follow up, fun little bonus question: Do you have a game designer crush?
A game designer crush? No, but also I don't look at people like that. I like actually have a rule against dating in the industry.
That's fair.
That's legit.
That's fair.
Because it's I've broken it once before, and it was a dumb decision.
Okay, follow up question now.
I'm not answering that one.
No, hold on. At least let me ask the question first before you dismiss it.
Right.
Was that the person you didn't finish Machikoro Legacy with?
No. Yeah, the person was someone I met in college. He was actually my ex-fiance. So no.
Okay.
Different person.
No, that was a funsy question. I wasn't actually serious. So.
No. This person would play Machikoro Legacy with me. We're like still friends. So.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah. But no, I don't have any crushes per se. More like, ooh, I want to do a co-design or something with this person.
Totally.
Like more like that kind of thing.
Totally.
But,
that's fair.
Okay. From that aspect, who would it be?
It was Daryl Andrews, but we're actually co-designing stuff together. So like,
nice.
Nailed it.
Nice. We love Daryl. He's awesome.
Yeah, he's a good dude. I'm excited. Hopefully, we'll see some stuff with our names together on it.
Yeah, that's amazing.
That's awesome. All right, so this will segue into another question. Do you have a favorite fan experience or memory? Like you met somebody in the industry or the hobby and you're like, oh my God, like total like celebrity moment.
So I think the reason I get along with so many people is I don't have those moments. Like Eric Lang, I just shoot the shit with him, and then we became friends.
Yep.
Where I would watch other people fanboy and fangirl hardcore and make him uncomfortable, where I just treated him like a normal person.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't really fangirl. Like when I met Daryl for the first time, I met him at a Panda party at Gen Con. So like Panda Manufacturing does a party. Mm-hmm. And so I was introduced to him through Adam, who works at Panda. And we had this whole ass conversation about when he did the Sinister Six game for Spin Master, I think it was. And we were talking about like Marvel supervillains, like Spider-Man specifically. Carried a conversation for probably 30, 40 minutes. And then he left. And then Adam's like, did you know who that was? I was like, no. And he was like, that's Daryl Andrews. He made Cigar. I was like, okay, that's cool. Like, didn't care. Became really close friends with him. So I was just like, meh.
That's awesome.
I don't really
awesome.
care.
Yeah, I can relate there because I'm kind of the same way. Like there's very few like oh my God moments I've had, but when I went to Gen Con last year and started meeting a lot of people, it's just like, hey, what's going on? How you doing?
Yeah.
Yeah, and that was so awesome when we would like walk together, Joe, and I'd be like, hey, you got to meet this other person. And I'm like, hey, this is my friend. And they're like, Phantom Meeple. And you're like, what the hell?
Oh, yeah, actually, that's funny. It was the other way around. And I was, so if there's a such thing as like, so there's a such thing as like reverse like fanboying, that was it.
Yeah. He was like, just like, what? How do you know me?
Yeah, like people I'd never met, and they knew all about me. I'm like, okay, this is the Twilight Zone. Why do these like game designers know me and I don't know them?
That was me at Gamma. Like literally, what was it, a week, 2 weeks ago? I walked in and a bunch of people were like, Danielle, people are talking about you. And I was like, you never want to hear that. You're like, oh my God, what did I do?
Yeah,
like I just go immediately to like, I'm in trouble with my parents or a teacher. And they're like, no, good things. I'm like, oh, okay, good. But it's like super weird having someone walk up.
Yeah, that's exactly what it was. Like, oh my God, people were talking about me, but good things.
Yeah. There was a tweet that went out about me, and I had a few people that were like, Twitter girl! And I was like, hi. It was a good tweet. But it was funny.
Girl.
Okay,
Oof.
that's also a tagline that you're just like,
Yeah, no. Like, it was funny because 2 of the 3 in the group knew the Twitter girl and knew the tweet. The third one was like, what? And so I had to like pull it up, and I hadn't seen it since it like just came out. And I was like, oh God, over 65,000 people have seen this.
Oh, no. Oh, wow.
Yes. Thankfully, it was a good tweet. It was a good tweet.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
All right. So speaking of that, do you have a favorite or funniest board game memory?
Good question. Huh. You'd think something would stick out, but I don't think anything really does. It's more just like a few games that have brought on a lot of good moments.
Okay.
Like our family go-to for the holidays was always Loaded Questions. And I just remember like laughing till I cried at that game. And I was always the target because I'm an easy target in my family and friend groups. So yeah, I remember that. But also I have a game that I've been playtesting, and it was one that like I started on and then Daryl's working on too, that has just caused a lot of funny moments because it's like a dexterity daring game. And so with dare games always causes like hilarious moments of like, oh, this is awkward, like I just helped my friend deliver a baby or whatever, and like those are kind of funny but goofy funny.
Yeah. Nice.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know. I'm sure it'll come later, like that time. Yeah. But right now I'm not.
Sure.
Yeah, if it does, just feel free to say it.
Yeah.
All right, so we got a question in the chat from Amanda Panda. What's your hobby to take a break from board gaming?
Rock climbing, which is basically a physical game of puzzle. Just like myself up. Yeah, it's a way to trick myself into working out, but it's just like super fun. The community is great. It's actually how I made like all my friends, or majority of my friends, on the East Coast when I moved out here from Chicago. So I love it. And I try to go when I'm home at least like twice a week. I'm only going to go once this week, so unfortunately.
That's cool. Yeah. Do you have like a rock gym nearby?
I have many. So Central Rock is actually like a chain. And so I actually go to the one that's slightly farther. It's like 45-minute drive, but that's where I met like all my friends. And so typically on Monday nights, if I wasn't with you, I would be climbing. But I also had a bunch of other earlier.
So
That's awesome.
Yeah. But yeah, I love rock climbing. It's just such a good way to like get out of my head and just like focus on this thing. It's like, oh, if I mess up, I fall.
Yeah. Ooh,
but someone catches me.
Oh man. All right. Next question. What's the last game you backed on crowdfunding?
Ooh, good question. I'm trying to think if the most recent one was the Flatout games, where it was like Point City and Deep Dive, or if there was one that was even more recent than that. Pretty recently, like within the last month.
Okay.
Might have been something earlier though. Okay. I think that was the most recent though.
Yeah, those 2 games are fun. I haven't played Point City, but I saw a demo of it at PAX.
Yeah.
Yeah, we did get to play Deep Dive though. That was cute.
Yeah, I played it at the Gathering and it was cute. It seemed like one that's pretty like low stakes. I could get my non-gamer friends to play it, which most of my games at this point have kind of like gone that direction because a lot of my friends aren't like huge gamers out here.
That works. Totally works.
Yep. All right, Danielle, favorite game mechanism?
That's hard. I love worker placement. I love engine building, but I feel like set collection might actually be my answer because it's integrated into so many other games. So I think for that reason, because it's very versatile, I would go set collection.
Nice.
Okay.
Nice.
Yeah, because I've had some like terrible experiences with majority of mechanics like being done wrong, but it's really hard to fuck up set collection.
I mean,
you know what I mean?
Fair.
Yeah, it's like some cuisines. It's like you get some bad Italian, but it's like still not the worst. You get bad seafood, like you're gone. Or like Mexican food, like that toilet's wrecked.
Yeah.
Oh goodness.
So speaking of terrible things, what is a game that you would never want to play again?
That I would never want to play again. Trying to think if there was any that was like that terrible. I could tell you one that at the time I thought I would never play again, but now I probably would.
Sure.
So the answer, and this is going to be problematic when I say it, is Spirit Island. I played that for the first time at my cousin's house. And so he was a gamer before I was a gamer. But I just started doing game design. And so he's like, oh, you're a game designer. Like, you know what's up. Like, well, we're going to do this on the hardest mode. And I'm going to let you choose your character based on the picture.
Oh, no.
So we spent 3.5 hours barely dying until it was the first game. It actually might be the only game I actually called. And I was like, guys, I can't finish this game. And yeah, I think this is the only physical game that was published in not a prototype that I called. And I was like, done. Because we were just dying the whole time. What should have happened in that cooperative game is we should have started on the easy mode. Just because I play games doesn't mean I should jump into hard mode on a game that I've never played before. And also at that point in time, I think the hardest thing I'd played was probably Wingspan. I was not at that level yet. Mm-hmm. And then we should have talked together and found a team that balanced each other out versus me and his girlfriend picking off the picture and then him choosing another one and none of our things working well together at all. It was a freaking struggle bus. So it's now I would do it again. If someone's like, hey, you want to play this? I'm like, great, let's go easy mode. And you pick my character for me or something. Then I'd be like, sure, let's go. But that was rough. That's probably the only game I've ever decided to cut early, even though we didn't technically win or lose. I mean, we were losing the whole time. I had no doubt in my mind we were going to lose that game. It was just going to be 2 more hours of losing.
Oof. Yeah, that's rough for sure.
Yeah, that makes sense. All right, so we kind of got an idea looking behind you, but horizontal, vertical, or if it fits, it sits.
Oh, well.
What is your preference?
Yeah, preference is literally behind me. Just because games are not really meant to be on their side, everything falls out, and that annoys the crap out of me. So, yeah, I'm going to go with what I got behind me.
All right, fair enough.
All right. Next question. What is your ideal player count for a game?
3 people.
Okay.
Yeah.
Short and sweet.
I just feel exactly. Well, because it's a nice group. Typically goes a little faster than 4. And a lot of games I've just found play better at 3. So yeah, I would say 3 player, then 4, then 2. Then I don't play solo games ever. So yeah.
Cool. I like it. To the point.
I like it. All right. What's the most incredible bargain you've ever found on a board game?
Does free count?
Sure.
Yeah. Okay, I think it shouldn't count. So I have a superpower of winning raffles. And so I've won a lot of raffles of games.
Yeah.
Yeah, I actually...
That's not necessarily a bargain, then, if you're always winning.
Fine. Okay, we won't bring my superpower into this conversation. Whatever.
Okay, what's an incredible bargain that you have paid at least 1 American cent for?
Fair enough, if we're excluding trading and winning games and birthday presents.
Dang! Danielle's like, I'm loaded, y'all.
God.
People like to give me free stuff, so...
You're killing
That did kind of come out like that. The universe gives me free things too, though. So,
oh
no.
Goodness.
Woo! Just see Danielle's head just get exponentially large.
I was thinking if I didn't have a light on my face, probably redder and redder as I'm digging that hole.
No, it's all good. It's all good. All right. At least 1 American cent, Danielle.
I know. I'm like trying to think. I don't know. I feel like so in the Chicago area, they have a great Facebook group that has like a bunch of games on it, and I've gotten a lot for like half priced or even less.
Cool.
I can't think of one that was like, I think I got like Small World for like $15 or like, I don't know. I got like things for significantly cheaper, but nothing that everyone was like, oh my God. It was more like I got Hellboy for free because my buddy was super nice on my birthday and gave me that Wingspan and Quirky Circuits because he worked for the manufacturing company, and it was just a really nice birthday gift. Yeah. So I was just like, that would be my best birthday gift that I ever got from games. So
nice. That's awesome.
Yeah.
All right. Some little more serious questions. What would be a piece of advice you would give to someone just starting out in game design?
Just starting out in game design, is their goal to be published, self-published? What is their goal?
The world is their oyster. They're just like, I want to start designing games. What would you say to them right off the bat?
Okay, well then off the back, I would say make a prototype and play test it, because a lot of people have a lot of great ideas, but it doesn't mean anything until you actually put it to paper and create it. And so I always like joke, I'm like the Nike commercial, just do it.
Yeah.
So that would be my number one, is put it together, test it out, bring it to like a convention or like an unpub or a local gaming group or an online play test or whatever. Just like get some eyes on it and be willing to take feedback, because you are not going to be the best game designer off the bat. And if you are, well, good for you, but unlikely. Just like actually make it and play it.
I like
and
that.
Then go from there.
Yeah. Very cool. Very cool. Joe?
Okay. On the flip side of that, is there somebody in particular in the industry you've looked up to as a mentor in your journey of game design?
I had a few. But I would say if I had to pick one, it would be Jonathan Gilmour. So when I first started out, I like reached out to like Pandasaurus Games, and he was the one that responded back and like set up a pitch meeting. And I think I met him, I want to say it was at Origins. And I came to his meeting. None of the games that I had were like quite a right fit, but he gave me great feedback. So honestly, like some of the best feedback you're ever going to get on your game is through pitching. So like, don't be scared to do it. But after it, I like made a comment, because it was like as the show hours were closing and the exhibit hall, it was 6:00. I was like, oh, you must be so happy. I was your last meeting. And he's like, oh no, I have them until midnight. And I was like looking at him like, I'm sorry, what now? And so he told me something that's like stuck with me through the years. And it was, he made himself available and opened his schedule versus like going out drinking or to these like mixers that a lot of other publishers and designers and stuff go to. Like I go to them because that's how I meet people and how I like grew my network. But he kept himself open, so that way the mom who has to like take care of the kids could like wait until the dad came home to like watch the kids, or like someone who had to work that like 9 to 5 or had to work the exhibit hall in order to be able to go to the convention, like me, because I typically would like work a show, so I get the badge and the hotel and stuff covered, because cons are expensive. And so he made himself available to try to find those like diamonds that normally wouldn't get seen. And so like when he told me that, it just kind of pulled on my heartstrings. And as he was telling me that, he literally walked me over to another publisher that my games were a better fit for and introduced me. So I had a meeting the next day.
Wow.
And that's like,
that's awesome.
Yeah, that's the kind of person like I want to be and continue to try to be, because honestly, like they just made such an impression on me. And I love John, and like it stinks because in some ways like he has been hit hard by the industry, like a lot of people have, but like he continues to stay in it. He continues to be a positive light in my life, and we're actually friends. I'm going to his wedding. So yeah, he's an amazing dude.
I'd
say he's
awesome.
Like my role model.
That's very cool.
Okay.
That's an awesome story. Very cool. All right. So alongside of that, since you mentioned such wonderful people, are there any things within the board gaming hobby that you wish could improve or change?
I mean, yes, definitely. I'm always pushing for more diversity. I want more female names on boxes, more representation as far as like ethnicities that aren't just Caucasian. I want the queers. I want more LGBTQ plus out and about. Since I am very outwardly lesbian and I'm a director for Tabletop Gamers, I actually have had a lot of designers that have opened up to me like during the later hours of conventions and have like told me that they were bi, but not open about it. And it kind of sucks because in a lot of ways, like, if people knew, they would bring more people into the hobby because like you can be a role model. Like when Elizabeth shot up, because before Elizabeth, I mean, there are other women that are great designers, like Erica Buarez, like now she works for Spin Master. There's like a bunch of them, but the ones that are like, that have done the most are more on the mass market side and they're like more on the toy side. And so a lot of them are like very secret. They don't really share anything.
Sure.
And so they're not like a role model. They're not really someone that you can look up to. But then when Wingspan took off, Elizabeth kind of became a role model, whether or not she wanted to be, for girls trying to get into the industry. So like, I want more representation on all those fronts. And then I want publishers to not take advantage of new designers because that happens a lot, which is unfortunate. And there's like a hard way. It's like one of those hard things of like, as a new designer, when you get screwed over, you can't really be vocal about it because then you might be too hard to work with in the future. Like people, it's like a he said, she said, and there's a lot of that you find out as you like get into the industry and as you talk to people, there's like these whispers of things. And in some ways, I kind of wish that stuff could be public knowledge and not just something you find out through the grapevine. But you know, we're getting better, and I know there's been like a lot of people that as I was entering the industry got pushed out because they were taking advantage of other people or like taking advantage of women, which I remember when there was a large string of guys that got kicked out for things like that. So I know that we're getting better, but yeah, I guess like the only thing I can really help with is representation. So I can like help put more diverse people on my podcast. I can like volunteer my time for organizations, but that's kind of something that other people can do is just like support those voices and try to like be a role model. If you are a diverse designer, influencer, publisher, be vocal about the things that you do and try to like give people an opportunity to like get their game seen and stuff. So
100%. 100%. That's kind of why we're here, right, Joe?
Yeah, exactly. As a member of the Alphabet Mafia myself, I definitely want to try and raise up those voices because it's deserved.
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah, love it. Back to you, my friend.
All right, Danielle. What games would you recommend to designers just starting out to play to kind of give them a shove in the right direction?
This is always a hard question because I get asked constantly by non-designers because they're like, you make board games? What games should I buy? And I always base it off the person because like everyone's interest is so different. And like now with how many themes we have that have simple, accessible mechanics, gets hard. I would say like some of the staples, I feel like everyone's obsessed with Catan. So I maybe would do that, even though I technically home rule Catan. So I maybe wouldn't do that.
Well, are you going to do it now with the, it feels like there's a new surge of Catan being played now. Unfortunately, you know, with the passing of Klaus, but.
That was so sad.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I think I would more just like tell the mechanics to play. So I'd be like, okay, like Sushi Go is a great like first look at set collection and like pick and pass, and it's like it's a super easy game. So I'd be like, I would give them that game. I would probably give them maybe like Splendor or something to show kind of like how engine building works in a very basic way. Probably something like Pandemic if we were showing off a co-op game, or like one of the Forbidden Island games. Yeah, I mean, I'm biased and I love my game Her Story. It's a great engine building set collection game. So like even instead of Splendor, I might show them my game. But yeah, I don't know. It would totally depend on the person because like everyone's tastes are different and I'd want them to be set up for success. And then of course, Ticket to Ride, everyone's obsessed with Ticket to Ride. So depending on their attention span, I'd either tell them like one of the smaller ones like New York, or I would tell them the original or Europe, depending on who they are.
Yeah. Nice. I did purchase Her Story for my niece who's 8, and she like always wants to play board games. So I was like, here, you play this and teach your siblings how to play. Because she's the one out of all her siblings that's like the most hungry for learning and like playing games. And so I was like, here you go.
Oh,
it's educational and it's fun.
I know. It's funny because so many people are like, ooh, educational game. And I'm like, it's not really, because like you can completely ignore the information on the back of cards. You shouldn't, because you can learn about 120 awesome women.
Right.
But you also technically can. Like, it's just a game with gorgeous artwork.
Yeah. Yep. Welcome in, Timey. Thanks for being here. All right, Joe, what you got?
Ooh, last one, sorry.
Oh, okay, fair enough. So to follow up that question, did Splendor have any influence on her story at all? Because I played it, and I definitely see a lot of similarities.
No, so that was funny, because later on, people were like, oh, this is replacing Splendor for me. And I was like, oh, hey.
You didn't even realize it. Wow.
No, I mean, like, we were thinking, we're like, oh, engine level, or like, just like entry level engine building game. I was like, I always say like, this is the game you should play before you teach your mom like Wingspan or whatever. Because like you're explaining like how things interact with each other. And I mean, of course, like Splendor is just, it is engine building, but really it's still like based off the jewels or the icons and stuff. But no, like I actually didn't, while playtesting it, really compare it much until like it came out and I was like demoing it for people. And then it started coming up more and more. I was like, oh yeah, I could see like they're in the same kind of like, they could like fight in a wrestling match.
Who would win?
That's odd. Yeah. Who would win? There we go. Now there's a real question.
That is fair. I mean, Joan of Arc is on the cover and she's got like her armor and a sword. So like, no offense to the nobles and Splendor, but I don't think they're gonna win. There's also like, they got the numbers. Have you seen how many girls' faces we have on the cover of that box? It's a lot.
It is a very, very fantastic box. Yeah, I think her story would win hands down, bias aside.
They got the numbers.
Yep.
That is fantastic.
That is fantastic. I love it. Okay, so speaking of your own games, Danielle, do you have a dream publisher that you would like to work with?
Ooh. You'd think I would have an answer because I pitch constantly to people. But I don't know if I have like a specific one answer.
Okay.
Like, yeah, because so like I would love to do something with Hasbro because I'm buds with Tanya and I love Tanya and I'd love to like work with her with inventor relations. The op would be really cool, like some of the bigger names, but also like some of the smaller ones, like Smirk and Laughter. I love Kurt. KTGB. I would love to do something with that. I don't know. It's hard because the problem is now I've become friends with all these people.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, I want a game with you. My goal is literally just to have my name on a bunch of different games with a bunch of different publishers. So I can have variety. And also then I can like understand what is like the perks and downfalls of working with each publisher because everyone's totally different. I've learned that.
Okay.
Nice.
Yeah.
All right, time for my favorite question. Do you still consider yourself a player first, a designer second, or has the creative process overtaken the hobby aspect of gaming for you?
Oh, I'm a designer first. Yeah, that's definitely the thing because
that's
literally
a quick answer to you.
It's because like literally every time I meet a new person and as soon as they find out what I do for work, like they don't find out about my hobby, they find out what I do, which is design games. And immediately that just is me. Like I'm introduced as the game designer.
Got it.
And then I'm followed up as the lesbian. So it's like that seems to be my first identifier. Second is the lesbian.
Okay.
And then maybe rock climbing or cat lady.
All right, so good to know. So if you ever hand me your business card, designer, lesbian, rock climber, got it.
Yeah, I mean I have a podcast too, but like the podcast would probably appear on the card, so like maybe that would come up first or second. It would come up second. It'd be like game design one side, the other side is podcast. I don't know.
That's awesome. I love
it.
Too funny.
All right, Danielle, do you think the terms board game and tabletop are separate terms or are they becoming more interchangeable?
I would say they're more interchangeable now because I used to just use board game and then that was in the very beginning and people were like, no, it's board game and card game. You say tabletop game. But I was like, oh, okay. And so then I was like, yeah, RPGs are different. And they're like, no, it's a tabletop RPG. And I was like, what? What is this?
How many letters are you adding to this?
Literally though. Like I'm from nothing but Mafia. There's so many. I was like, good God. Just be happy I'm playing your game.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah. I would say they've become a little more interchangeable, but I'd still say like tabletop. It just kind of is like the umbrella.
Sure.
That is the other shit under it.
Yep. Nice.
Yeah.
Okay. So for you personally as a designer, deep down, simplicity or complexity, what would you prefer?
Simplicity. Yeah. Everything I design, I will play like a heavy Euro game that takes 4, 5, 6 hours. I will choose my favorite part and I will design a game around the single favorite part that will play in less than an hour. So yeah, everything I do is about streamlining. I like the idea of there being like only a few rules, but like interesting decisions in the games that I make. And I don't feel the need to like, I mean, I do throw stuff at it, but in general, most of my games will take less than an hour and a half to play. And that's just kind of like where my sweet spot is as a designer. Like, who knows, maybe someday I'll make a Euro game, but if I do, it'll dedefinitely be a co-design with someone else because my attention span for playtesting something like that is not there. And I like to work on a lot of projects at one time. So like my pitch deck, I was carrying around a suitcase with over 20 games in it. And so I work on a ton of like smaller games, like light strategy, party games, dexterity games, abstract games, like all those. I like simplicity.
Okay. So now you piqued my interest. So off the top of your head, is there like a big heavy Euro game you played and then turned around and you designed something that was a piece of it?
Ooh, there's a few that have inspired stuff. Yeah. Oh my gosh, what is it called? It has a camel on it on the front cover and it's orange and teal. What is it called?
Camel Up?
Crap.
Camel Up?
It's not Camel Up. No. It takes longer to play than Camel Up.
Is it Sobek 2-player?
No. Oh my god, this is the worst.
I'm trying to think of games that have camels on their cover.
I know. I'm like, oh my god,
Silk Road has camels on it.
Oh, Merv. That.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure it's called Merv. Yes. So that one in the game, it's just like you're like moving these little people around, and depending on like which column or row you're at is like what you have access to, choosing to place your little meeples. And yep. Yes. Okay. That guy, that one right there. So when I like looked at it, I was like, oh, but like instead, what if it was like you slide the columns and stuff? And so then I was like, but also what if you like made it smaller and then you made it like an abstract game? And then later on, I took that and then I made it big again. And now that is the game I'm currently working on with Underdog Games. That may be the new trekking game. So kind of like
fun,
big and small. Like it was just like, I just like seeing the board and how things interacted. I was just like, well, what if instead we like can push the thing, or like what instead if we do this? Or I played this like Clover, not what's so Clover, not or like so Clover, but a different Clover game where you're like filling in numbers and stuff. And
Lucky
I like
numbers.
Is it Lucky Numbers? Okay, thank you. Yes.
Numbers.
Yeah. So I played that game and I got mad because I barely lost, and I went like, ugh. And then I flipped the little card and it flipped so well, and then I just started going like this, and I was like, and then I immediately came up with a game called Flip Flops, where you're flipping flip flops to match the pattern that's in front of you. So you're literally like just going like this to flip these flip flops that are halfway hanging off the table, and it's like
awesome.
Chaotic fun, and it's just so cute. And it came from me just like having a hissy fit moment as a joke, and I was like, wait, this is like super fun.
That's cool. Fantastic. I love it.
So random shit happens during my day.
That's awesome.
But that's great. It gives you a little insight into, how you kind of come up with a design. So that's really cool.
Oh, yeah. My friends tease me that I'm the Taylor Swift of board game designers because I've actually created games based off of people I've gone out with. So that happens.
Do you have are you going to design like an Eras collection then?
No, but I do. Yeah, I have one published game that's based off of someone I dated, and then 2 that are getting pitched right now that are also based off of like people I dated. So I was like, be careful.
What's the published one?
It's called The Versus. It's with Big G Creative. It's a party game. So yeah, the game that it is now is basically a memory card comes up, and then you're playing song titles that would be like fitting of said memories. So like maybe that time you got crop dusted in the elevator, or like a weird picture showed up in your Apple Watch, or whatever it is. Yeah, like so then you play a card like "Don't stand so close to me" or whatever, like, or yeah. Can't touch this, whatever it is. So you're playing those, and then it's simultaneous voting. So we're all voting together. We have guitar picks that are our voting chips. So it's like a cute little party game. And I dated a musician that inspired it, because originally it was called What's the Vibe, and she was always in charge of the like Spotify or whatever we were doing as we were driving and stuff. And I'd always go like, "What's the vibe?" So yeah,
that's awesome.
Yep.
So that's then, in conjunction with that, do you design games first for yourself, Danielle, or for your potential audience?
I would say more for the publisher that has hired me or is currently giving me a paycheck. That is most of my games came out of that situation where it's like, hey, Target wants a music party game, and I was like, hey, I already have one, let's just change it to fit this thing. But typically, like, personally, I design for myself. Like, if I have a funny moment in my day, or I play a game that inspires me or whatever, I like prototype it, whip it up together, I start playtesting and showing it to someone. I actually designed a game that I designed in my dreams that I've been pitching, which is pretty cool. Yeah, so I design for myself, but the more the published games come from people telling me exactly what they want with parameters, and me being able to fit said parameters, which is actually quite hard for some designers.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
That's awesome. Dreams. Ooh, I like that.
Yeah, it's bad. I literally spend too much time doing games to the point where I now have to keep a notebook next to my bed. So, yeah.
All right, so you've already touched on a couple of things. Obviously, you've got dreams. You have, former relationships. But are those the main motivations that kind of keep you going in game design, or is there anything else that kind of, gets you going?
I think about this a lot, and part of it is I just love playing games. Playing published stuff can influence me. But it's like a creative outlet mostly, and like the networking aspect of just like the community that I've gained through it has really meant a lot. And my current goal is literally just for the rest of my life to have my name on at least one thing a year coming out. So that's kind of like my overarching goal. But really, I don't need to be the best game designer, but I want to bring the best game designer into the hobby that may have not been seen had I not been here. So I like kind of being the one to promote new people, and being more well-known, or like seeing me on more boxes helps give me a bigger voice to bring more people in. So that's kind of my driving motivation.
Awesome.
I like that. I like that a lot. And shout out to Sheer Boredom, who just gifted a sub to Eclectic Camel. Thank you so much for doing that. I appreciate it so much. Yeah. So we are just chatting here with wonderful game designer Danielle Reynolds. If you have any questions for her, please feel free to pop them in the chat, and we'll make sure to ask them while we are chatting here. Let's see. Oh, okay. Top 5 games, Danielle, you would take for a weekend getaway. And it could be with whomever, wherever. It's just like, I'm going to go away for the weekend, and I'm bringing these 5 games.
This is so bad. I wish you wouldn't leave it so open-ended. Because if it was like a birthday party where I'm like renting a house with like X amount of people, because player count matters.
All right, Joe, what would be the parameters then?
Yeah, give me some parameters, please. This will make it easier for me.
Let's see, parameters.
Like if I'm driving or if I fly, depends how big the game is going to be.
So
how many players?
So weekend getaway, people you don't see often. You rent out an Airbnb. There's like 8 or 12 of you. What would you play?
Oh God, 8 or 12. Oh, okay, sure. Let's go. So Wavelength would be one for sure, because that is one that I pop out when they've called it since college pulling a Danielle where I invite too many people to something from all walks of life
Nice.
because I have a problem. I don't like not including people. So
That's
wavelength is really good.
That's a gift. You're very welcoming.
That is amazing.
Makes it really hard though. Like, oh my God, I hope I never to get married because then that list, it was hard enough. No. So wavelength is really good because I can split people into teams. So that's nice. And then I really love, and technically you can't play with that amount of people, but Tattoo Stories by Eric, it's just really funny. Like, I love the idea of like comboing cards and like drawing out your ridiculous looking tattoo and pitching why you should put it on someone's body. Ridiculous. Big fan of that. Catchphrase, which the like electronic version is just a go-to at like every larger event with too many people.
Okay.
So I like that one. Catch the Moon, I tend to bring out a lot more because it's like a little dexterity game of like putting the ladders, and it's so Instagrammable. It's so pretty. Yeah, and then maybe like a social deduction game possibly.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm trying to think like what my current social deduction game, like, I don't know. I really liked Quest, which was like the new Avalon game. And then I actually liked Secret Hitler. That was a fun one, but I found out that two friends that I had like just met, they came into my apartment, they saw it, and they like were actually concerned about me when they saw that title in my shelf. Thankfully, they came back and realized I was legit and cool and that I'm not a weirdo. But yeah, so I'm always down to play like a social deduction game because it's like a nice alternative to party games. Yeah, so I think I said 5.
Yeah, you did.
Cool. Awesome. Yeah, I'm sure there's others, but with that many players, you kind of need to go bigger.
Yeah. All right, Joe, we got a question from the chat.
We do. All right, so 2 questions from sheer boredom. What game did you enjoy the most at Gamma, and what game caught your eye there that you weren't able to play your demo?
Ooh. Okay, so I ended up in like meetings most of the time, or dinners that went way too long, so I actually did not get a chance to play too many games. This is hard. I'm like literally just spacing on what I played. This is bad because literally my friend designed it. Her name's Whitney, and I'm going to look it up on my phone because I am the worst individual right now. And I mean, at least it's good that that's my favorite one. That I don't
it's your friend's
remember.
game.
Don't tell her I did this.
Don't worry. This isn't on the internet. Nobody will ever see this.
Okay, it's called Pirate Tales, and it is by Skybound.
Okay.
Yes, and I will flip this over. It's for the picture.
Oh, it's
Pirate
cute.
Tales.
Aww.
Yeah, it was cute. So I played it like late at night. It's one of those ones where it's like you take one card into your hand, you put one face up, one face down, and then like grab the piles and stuff, and like you score the points. Very cute, very easy. That was the only published game I played at Gamma, but it was my favorite published game.
Nice.
That's
Yeah,
awesome.
I was very, very busy. I did play some of my prototypes because I was pitching at Gamma, so that was the other thing. But ones that I wanted to play. So I wanted to play the new updated artwork of Habitats that is now with All Play, which used to be BoardGameTable.com. And so I mentioned that and they gave me the demo copy. And I did play it this weekend.
That's cool.
Woo, did it. Full circle as to people giving me games.
Nice.
But yeah, I also just really enjoyed like checking out the Horizon program because I was unfamiliar with it before the convention. And so just like walking around and like seeing what these new publishers are making, whether it was a prototype or whatever it was really, really cool. And I got to see like the box cover for the new like Call of Duty game that's going to be with Arcane Wonders. So they're like super excited to be doing that. And I'm not even a Call of Duty person, but just like the excitement and I know they're going to do it well made me like, ooh, I kind of want to check that out.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. There's a lot of cool stuff out there. Definitely had a good time. I never play games at conventions, like, or not at the bigger conventions, I should say. I'm normally just like networking or working a booth. So yeah, I don't know. Not sure if that answers your questions.
No, I don't know.
I think it does. I mean,
Yeah.
You definitely put out some answers there, so.
Yeah. Danielle answered the question. Much. If it wasn't related to the question, it's not our fault.
I don't follow rules.
I wasn't going to go there, but.
I will say this.
I'm just messing with you. It's fine.
Jess coming in hot.
I did see a cool game being like play tested though by one of the Horizon, and it's called like Scales of Influence, and it literally like has a physical scale that you like put things on. So that was
that
cool.
Sounds interesting.
Yeah, so I'm excited to see when that comes out and stuff, and that's by like a female designer. So yeah,
okay,
I'm excited for that one.
Nice.
There, I got an answer done.
There you go.
Yeah, I didn't get to play it, so I would like to play it in the future.
Sheer Boredom asks, is it Annie, the tarot game?
Yes, it is. Yeah.
Nice. Game. Nice. Okay, Danielle, personally for you, how many games in your collection would you consider to be too many games? Like, have you reached a limit?
I mean,
like, I'm going to get
in my games,
and then that's way too many if I go over this number.
I honestly want to downgrade my collection again and try to get it under 200. So, yeah, if anyone knows of places that I can donate and or sell games on the East Coast near Springfield, Massachusetts, let me know. Yeah, because I don't know. It's like gotten to the point where like in my apartment, it's like bleeding into a bunch of areas. So like right behind me, normal people would have fancy dishes. I have board games. And then I have like board games in my guest room. I have board games in my kitchen. I have board games in like almost every room except my bedroom. Not in my own bedroom.
That's cool. And hello, Shanna Ranner. Welcome in. Joe, one last question before I have you go off and get our special guest.
Sure. Okay. Do you have a particular routine when you're working on or creating a game?
I wouldn't call it a routine. Well, I guess, yeah, I always grab some tea, sit down, and then I get catted so I can't get up because my cat's too cozy. So that's my routine. Yeah, I just plug and chug and make myself stuck at my computer until I like get something done. Yeah.
Nice. Bring them to Six Flags and pass them out at the entrance. What are you talking about, Sheer Boredom? Your board games, your leftover board games.
I was like, I guess that's a way to get inspired.
Here, you're gonna go to this theme park? Here, try this game.
No, funny enough, I actually do my best work on airplanes because I'm stuck without internet. And so I just like think.
Yeah.
And especially when I'm really, really tired, I do my best thinking because I just like can only focus on the one thing.
That's fair. That's totally fair. And when you just have like your own little seat and your little tray table thing and it's just you and your computer. Yep. Makes sense. Totally makes sense. All right, Joe, go get our special guest, please.
Yep, I will go get him. I will be back.
All right. Next question for you, Danielle. Do you have a game idea that you had to shelve for a later date because you got like either brain fog or you just like stuck or like this is as far as I want to go so far. I'll come back to it later.
Yes, many times, but one in particular that bugs me a lot is I have this game. It's called Daughters of Asclepius, and I don't know if you know Greek mythology, but Asclepius is the guy that you see on like a lot of medical stuff. He's the one with the staff with the two snakes that are wrapped around it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so he was the god of healing. He's son of Apollo and also the first necromancer. So he was the first person to push it too far and just brought people back from the death, which isn't technically healing. I mean, it is, but it's not.
Yeah.
And so pissed off Hades, because Hades was getting less souls to the underworld. So Hades goes to Zeus and goes, hey, bro, take care of your grandson, like get him to stop. So what Zeus does is he electrocutes his grandson and kills him. And so Apollo's mad because now his son's dead by his father. And so Apollo can't kill Zeus, so instead kills the Cyclopses that make the lightning bolts. And then he gets put on timeout for doing that and gets turned human. And so now there is no god of healing left. But thankfully, Asclepius had 5 daughters. And so in my game, you're picking up from that story and you're now the 5 daughters. competing to become the new goddess of healing. And so,
cool.
Yeah. And it is a game that I have rebooted so many times. Like, it started first as a worker placement game, like worker placement set collection kind of game. And then it moved into kind of like a deck building game.
Okay.
And then now it's more like hand management, with the main piece of it being like, you have these patients, they need specific ingredients to heal them. And their patients all have lifelines. So they're all like closer or farther away from dying. And like those lifelines tick down every single turn.
Wow.
And so it has like a clock built into it that you're trying to heal and collect what you need to heal these people.
Wow. That sounds really cool. I like that a lot.
Like, it frustrates me because it's like such a cool idea and I love the theme of it so much. And I need it. I need to make it work.
Well, eventually, I'm sending you good vibes that eventually it'll get made, because that theme alone and that little story you just told, I was like, I'm hooked. I'm like, hell yeah, I want to play this game.
Sweet.
All right, as we transition, I'm going to play a little theme song background music here for everybody. If you're familiar with this is the Phantom Meeple theme song done by the wonderful Amari Akil. We love Amari. We love what he's doing now, going into some music, being all creative and whatnot. So here we go. Good evening, Sir Phantom. How are you this evening?
Good evening, Jess. How are you? I know it's been a while. I've had other projects and things to take on, but glad to be back.
Indeed, indeed. What do you have for our new guest here?
Oh, I've got plenty. Good evening, Danielle. How are you?
I'm doing great. Good evening.
Fantastic. Glad to hear that you're well. Well, we've come to the point of the interview where, as Sir James Lipton did before me on Inside the Actors Studio and Bernard Pivot before him, it is time for the Sir Phantom Lipton questionnaire. Rapid fire questions. Answer any way you wish. Are you ready?
Okay, when you say rapid fire, do my answers also need to be rapid fire?
They do not.
Minute or less? Okay, just checking. Had to clarify. All right, I'm good to go.
Feel free to answer any way you wish. We're not on a time constraint at all.
Cool.
All right, here we go.
Okay.
What is your favorite board game?
Wingspan.
Okay. What is your least favorite board game?
I don't have one.
Okay.
Sorry.
No, that's fine. What board game makes you feel the most happy?
Probably Loaded Questions, because I'm with my family playing it and being creative.
Okay. What board game makes you feel the most sad?
Upwards, because it's my aunt who passed away with cancer's favorite game that I would play with her.
Oh, that's a good one. I don't think we've gotten an answer like that, Jess.
Sorry.
No, thank you for sharing that.
No, yeah. Don't be sorry. Most people usually dodge that question, but that's a good one. I mean, sorry to hear that, but that's a fantastic answer.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, I changed the hate to Scrabble.
Okay.
I strongly dislike Scrabble.
Oh, okay. Well, you might want to save that answer. Okay, next up. What board game components do you love?
So from Tiny Epic Zombies, there was a meeple car that you put the little meeple in, and that inspired an entire game for me.
Okay.
I love fun meeples.
Right. What board game components do you dislike?
Honestly, it's just like poor quality cards. Like when it's just like really flimsy cards. I hate that. It's a pet peeve of mine, especially after working in manufacturing. Yeah, it needs to be 300 GSM at least.
Nice.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. What board game is so bad that its name should become a curse word?
Oh, that is funny. It would be funny if it was Scrabble. I like it. Scrabble.
So we're going with Scrabble, huh?
Scrabble. Yeah, we're gonna go Scrabble.
Okay. All right. What profession other than your own would you like to attempt?
I always wanted to work for DC comics. Yeah. So I always wanted to like make comic books when I was younger.
What profession would you not like to do?
Working in a sewer. Just seems not fun and smelly, and that I would never get the smell off of me. And yeah, I don't know. That just seems unpleasant.
Okay. And finally, if heaven exists, what would you like to hear God say when you arrive at the pearly gates?
I would love God to be like, hey girl, hey, like very flamboyantly gay, because that would make me very happy.
Nice.
Fantastic. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is the Sir Phantom Lipton questionnaire.
Yay, Danielle, you did it!
I did it! And actually off the top of my head for almost all of it immediately.
Love it. Love it.
So good.
All right, really, just a couple more questions we got for you, Danielle, before we sign off for the evening.
Let's go.
Do you have a Grail game?
What is a Grail game?
Like, if you obtained it, you have obtained glory. Like, you're finding the Holy Grail of games.
Okay, so are we saying like a game that's currently published or a game that I want to have signed and made?
Ooh, what do you think, Joe?
Yes.
Yes to both questions.
Yes. It is.
Fair enough.
It is the game. Like, oh my God, I have this and nothing else matters.
Ooh, did we stump her? Did we stump her?
I think. I'm trying to think if there's like a game that I really, really want that I don't have access to. Like, it's more like I have a wish list where I'm just stubborn and don't want to pay the price. Like, right now I want Lacrimosa, but I'm stubborn and I don't want to pay like $80 or whatever it is for it. So I'm like waiting for it to be cheaper.
Fair.
Oh, Lacrimosa is a good one.
Yeah, it is a good one. So I think like that's the game that I want on my list the most, that I'm being super stubborn about. I don't know if there's like a game though that would be like, oh, this is the thing and I'm never letting it go, and like if a fire happens I'm taking it over my cats. I don't think there is any of those. Yeah, and then as far as my own games go, I have an abstract strategy game that I've had for like the past few years, and I recently rebooted the theme of it, which makes it a lot better now, just because of a better theme. But I really want that guy to be signed. Now it's called like Don't Squish the Froggies, and I would be so incredibly happy if it ever comes into the world, because that one causes me a lot of joy, and everyone who plays it gets addicted immediately. So it's like, damn it, publishers, like make more abstract, sign this freaking game. Like, it's the one that irks me the most, that has come so close so many times.
Yeah.
Similar to my like daring dexterity party game. I was like, that one just causes so much laughter and funny moments and like memorable moments that it's like, I want you to be made the most of all my party games. Like, yeah. I pick favorites where I'm just like, grrr, anger.
Yeah. Cool. Do you have any final questions, Joe?
I think we've done Danielle justice.
We have put the icing on this cake. The cherry is on top. So we're going to say thank you so much, Danielle, for joining us this evening. It has been a pleasure. But before we let you go, please tell everyone where we can find you on the interwebs and what you've got coming up in the next months, weeks, years. Exciting stuff coming up.
Sure thing. So you can find me online on Instagram and on Twitter at Token Gamer, and that's Token and then Gaymer. Sadly, on Twitch, Token Gamer is already taken, so I had to add a 13 because that's my favorite number. So you can find me there too if you ever see me popping up. As far as conventions go, I will be at Geekway to the West in 2 weeks, and then I will be at Origins and then Gen Con, and then I'm sure I'll be at some other stuff in the future. Check out my podcast, Game Design Unboxed. It airs every other Tuesday. And so for anyone who doesn't know what that podcast is about, I basically interview game designers about the games they make. We choose one specific game and we unbox it. We go from like where the concept came from initially, the inspiration, to like how did they continue developing it? Did they self-publish? Did they find a publisher? Just like the whole story. It was based around the concept of, I really liked on Food Network the show Unwrapped when I was a kid. So it's like took that, turned it to board games. made a podcast, and I'm actually wrapping up the 3rd season this summer. So that's very exciting. And I actually believe that Benita Carr is going to be the one that will be helping me wrap it up, as long as her brother's wedding doesn't get in the way of it. But yeah, so that's some cool stuff. And I have 2 games coming out with Underdog Games and a partnership that has not been announced yet, but I will tell you it is really freaking cool and is going to look great on my resume. Yeah. And I will also be switching to a cool company that will be announced when they announce it. So yeah, sorry, I have a lot of really cool stuff in the works. Yes.
That's fine.
Oh, also, I just thought of something that I have not announced, but is very exciting news. I'm going to actually be in a museum for board games.
Wow.
Yes. Yeah. So that's like really exciting. I will be there along with Elizabeth Hargrave. So I was like,
oh, fun.
Amazing.
Yeah, because they're doing like a Women in Games exhibit, and it's in Rochester, New York, the Strong National Museum of Play.
Okay.
And so,
that's cool.
Yeah, it's not a thing that I ever had as a goal for myself in my life, but it's a thing that's happening, and I'm super excited about. So
yeah, that's still a win. That's fantastic.
100%.
Yeah.
That's amazing. Very cool.
Oh my gosh.
So Danielle's got a lot happening, y'all. Make sure you're giving her follows on the socials.
Gosh, please. Yeah, you're gonna be like amazed at the amount of stuff that gets done in my life.
That is so cool. That is so exciting. Yeah. Man. All right, Joe, what do you have coming up this week, my friend?
All right, so tomorrow I'm going to be doing a solo stream for the first time in like forever, because Abby's got a new job and she comes home later now. So she's going to probably be taking Tuesdays off for the foreseeable future. But we got a buttload of games that is sitting in a pile right down there next to me. And I'm just going to unbox them tomorrow, chat with y'all, and talk about games. So that'll be tomorrow at 6:30 p.m. Okay. Then on Thursday, I'll be over on Geek Girl Con's channel. Abby's going to join me along with a couple of staff members, and we're going to be playing Three Sisters as a part of the month of nurturing. So that'll be at 7 p.m. Pacific over on Geek Girl Con. And then on Friday, Abby will be joining me, and we're going to be playing Steam Up, a game of dim sum, because it is fantastic and it's so cute.
It is so cute. That deluxe version is so nice. I got to play it
with the squishy bits.
Yeah, with the squishy bits. Like, honestly,
so
good.
Ugh, love it.
So that's coming up for me this week.
Cool. And friends, tomorrow you can catch me tomorrow morning, 9:30 Pacific, over on Room 51's channel, where Matthew and I do a nice little just chatting stream. He hasn't gotten rid of me yet, so I'm gonna keep coming back every week. So join us for that, for another fun, cozy chat. And then Wednesday, I'll be here on my channel doing some chatting and crafting. I've got a lot of like random stuff that I just want to color or put together or assemble or whatever. I had a lot of fun building Lego last week, so my art creative juices have been kind of like awakened again. So I'm like, I want to do more crafts. So yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah, that's going to be on Wednesday. And then Friday, I'll be playing another Card Aventura, kind of choose your own adventure card game from Tims and Cosmos. And it's going to be the Vinland expansion, where we're following the Viking that I'm blanking on his name, something the Red. What's the
Eric the Red?
Eric the Red. Thank you. Yes. So I'm going to do that on Friday morning, 10 a.m. Pacific. So, yes. But for now, I'm going to send everybody over to the wonderful Benita K. She's playing a video game for once. She's doing a Sally face, actually.
Yeah, so. That's board game adjacent, though.
Yeah, because they do have the game coming out.
Very true. So it is totally fine. So thank you again, Danielle, for joining us. This has been a pleasure. Thanks everybody for hanging out with us, asking your questions. Thanks, Joe, as always, for being an amazing co-host.
Of course.
And until next time, friends, stay safe, enjoy your board games, be kind to one another, and we'll catch everybody on the next streams. Bye.
Bye.
Woo. Bye.
Already.